Do you want to learn how to trap house sparrows with a nest box trap? Let's learn how. I'm Jeff with Backyard Birds. This is a VanErt sparrow nest box trap, and combined with a nest box you can use it to trap house sparrows. If you like nature how-to videos, think about subscribing to my channel by clicking on the red subscribe button below the video. I began trapping house sparrows so the bluebirds could nest successfully, but they also compete with tree swallows, purple martins, great crested flycatchers, among other birds.
So what is a house sparrow and why would you want to trap them? Let me explain. This is a male house sparrow that has taken over this bluebird nest box. The house sparrow, also known as the English sparrow, is an invasive introduced species in North America and elsewhere. It is an extremely aggressive bird that outcompetes native cavity nesting birds and will destroy their eggs, young, and even adults in order to use a nesting cavity or to eliminate nesting competition. They are not a protected species in North America and can be legally trapped and eliminated. For more information on house sparrows and their invasive nature, click on the link at the top of this video.
Let me show you what we need to trap sparrows in a nest box trap. We need a nest box that house sparrows can enter. We need a VanErt sparrow nest box trap. And we need a mesh laundry bag to remove the bird. Let's look at the characteristics of the nest box. The nest box needs to have a 1.5 inch diameter opening. It needs to be front opening, or it can be side or top opening. Dimensions for the nest box can be found in the video description. To use the trap, you slide the trap onto 2 screws that are permanently mounted on the inside of the nest box. So it looks like that when it's on the screws. Let me show you how the trap works. Now this is how you set the trap. You pull down the trap door, you pull up the trigger, and the trap door catches on this little nub. Then for it to operate, a bird will fly into the nest box, land on the trigger, and you've caught the bird. Once the bird is trapped, you'll look outside at your nest box and you'll see the orange dot showing. So that shows you that you've caught something in the box. I mount some nest boxes at 5 feet. To mount the nest box at 5 feet, I attach the nest box to a 5-foot length of 1/2 inch EMT conduit. The conduit then is attached to a 1/2 inch piece of rebar, which is driven into the ground. The conduit is attached to the rebar with a conduit coupler. You may want to place a predator guard, like this can, on the pole to prevent predators from climbing the pole. Another method I use for mounting a nest box is on a 10-foot telescoping pole. The box is attached to a 5-foot length of 1/2 inch EMT conduit, which is attached to a 3/4 inch EMT conduit, which is attached to a T-post, which is driven in the ground. The 1/2 inch conduit is inserted into the 3/4 inch conduit, and a hole is drilled through them and a bolt holds them in place. The 3/4 inch conduit is attached to the T-post with a hose clamp. I like this method for a number of reasons. It's good for birds that prefer to nest at 10 feet, like great crested flycatchers. It's good for mounting where vegetation is tall, and it's a good method to use in a fence line. By removing the bolt, you can lower the box or remove it from the base. To remove a bird, we remove the bolt, lower the box on the telescoping pole. Now we're going to pretend like a bird's trapped and the trap is sprung. So we take our mesh laundry bag, roll up the edge, place it over the box. To remove the bird, we need to loosen the screw that holds the box closed. And now we cinch the bag shut. When we open the box, the bird should fly out and we catch it against the mesh laundry bag. We open the mesh laundry bag, reach in, transfer the bird. If it's a sparrow, we'll euthanize it. If it's a native bird, we'll release it and let it go. Some things to be aware of is be very careful when opening the box or catching the bird, as you do not want it to escape, as they're impossible to catch again. Also remember, they will bite you when you capture them, so you may want to wear gloves. And remember, don't release the bird somewhere else, as you'll just move the problem. The best time to catch them is in the spring when they're seeking out nesting sites, but you can also trap them in the winter when they're using the boxes as roosting sites. In Kansas, I've caught sparrows with nest box traps from October through June, but the best times are February through May, which coincides with nesting season. So when should you set the trap? If you see a house sparrow going in a box, if you see a house sparrow singing from the top of the box, if you see a house sparrow taking nesting material into the box. Any of those means it's a good time to set the trap. When setting the trap, do it quickly. Open the box, insert the trap, set the trap, close the box, and get away. Do not look at the sparrow. They're extremely smart birds. If the sparrow sees you at the nest box for too long, or you look directly at the sparrow, they're going to be wary of re-entering the nest box. Generally, you'll catch the sparrow within an hour, and I find that mornings are the best time to trap them. Once the trap is set, I check about every hour to see if the bird has been caught. It seems like around 10 o'clock in the morning is when I catch the most house sparrows. When trapping house sparrows, you want to have multiple boxes. You need some boxes for the native birds to nest in, and some boxes to trap house sparrows in. I like to mount my nest boxes out in the open because more of the native birds like that. You can also mount them next to buildings because house sparrows like to nest near buildings. I like to mount my nest boxes so they're pointed towards my house so I can look out a window to see if the trap is sprung. An alternative to euthanizing the house sparrows immediately is to use them as decoys in a repeating sparrow trap. Let's talk about my results. When I first started trapping house sparrows in 2013, I caught 37 house sparrows in nest box traps. As time went on, I caught fewer birds, and by 2018, I only caught 4 in nest box traps. Prior to my trapping of house sparrows, I had bluebirds try to nest in my yard every year, and the house sparrows always drove them away. Now that I trap house sparrows, the bluebirds nest every year successfully, and one year I had 3 pairs nesting at one time. When the grape-crested flycatchers first started nesting at my yard, the house sparrows destroyed their nest. But since I started trapping house sparrows, they've been able to nest every year successfully. Look in the video description for links to buy the VanErt nest box trap and the mesh laundry bag. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and leave a comment. For more videos on controlling invasive species like house sparrows and starlings, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Backyard Birds channel.